You can achieve financial success by learning to manage your finances. That is a feeling that successful individuals like Nelson Mandela and Oprah share. You may succeed in all spheres of life by working hard and remaining loyal to yourself. Financial success begins with personal success and extends to managing a profitable business and establishing credit. Based on a poll, 56 million credit card users reported having debt for a minimum of 1 year. Despite the fact that Americans avoided a recession in 2023 by spending enough to fuel economic expansion, this came at a price. According to a recent Bankrate poll, nearly half of consumers claim to be carrying credit card debt. According to data from a personal financial organization, 49% of credit card users carry a load from month to month. That represents a complete 10% increase over 2021. 56 million people, or 58% of those who rotate their balances, have been in debt for a minimum of a year, according to Bankrate. There is no indication of careless spending among the large proportion of Americans who are accruing credit card debt. According to respondents who spoke with Bankrate, the most frequent excuse for not paying off credit card debt each month is dealing with unforeseen or emergency costs, such as auto repairs and medical bills. However, many people also use their charge cards for everyday purchases. According to the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank, Americans owe more than $1 trillion in total on their credit cards, the first time that the amount of debt owed by consumers has exceeded that total. Due to rising credit card rates and ongoing inflation that reduces consumer purchasing power, debt has accumulated. According to Bankrate, the average credit card annual percentage rate increased by 4.44 percentage points from early 2022 to a record 20.74% in 2023. According to Ted Rossman, senior industry analyst at Bankrate, inflation is making an existing trend worse, as he said to CBS Money Watch. More people are carrying more debt for longer periods of time. This trend has been evident for some time. It's heading in the incorrect direction. A poll conducted in November among 2,350 consumers, of whom 1,800 have credit cards and 873 have outstanding balances, served as the basis for Bankrate's analysis. In order to help people start paying off their credit card debt, Rossman suggested a few actions. His best advice: open a balance transfer credit card with 0% interest that has a 21-month grace period before you are charged interest again. It gives you a valuable runway to really make progress without interest weighing you down, he stated. It's also a good idea to contact your credit issuer directly or through a non-profit credit counseling organization to negotiate better conditions, such as extended grace periods or deferred payments. Sometimes they are willing to make accommodations, so it doesn't hurt to ask, Rossman stated. Lastly, you can free up money to pay off high-interest credit card debt by starting a side business, selling items you no longer need, or making other financial cuts. Credit card debt is the highest by a wide margin, so it has to be at the top of the list for debt payoff efforts, Rossman stated. Credit card borrowers could suffer greatly, even in a mild recession. That's because interest rates on credit cards have increased significantly in recent years. The national average as of right now is 17.61%, barely below the record set in July. In contrast, when the Great Recession started, the typical credit card charged almost 13%. Even in the middle of the strongest 10-year economic expansion on record, delinquencies are rising. Approximately 9% of general-purpose credit card holders and 4.5% of private label card holders had at least one serious delinquent payment in the previous 12 months in 2018, according to data from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. According to Equifax, for private label cards, also known as retail or shop cards, that represents the most serious delinquent rate since 2011. Although the majority of people these days are doing well, there are still notable areas of instability. Since many individuals already live on the brink, a recession combined with extremely high credit card interest rates would be devastating. It's possible that a lot more people struggle to make ends meet. Only 35% of Americans have savings sufficient to last for 3 months, and 28% have no emergency funds at all. Furthermore, 8 million people in the United States are unable to recall how long they have been in debt, and 39 million have had credit card debt for at least 2 years. 25% of debtors anticipate dying of debt. Despite the exceptionally low 3.7% unemployment rate, all of these. Although credit card rates have somewhat decreased since the Federal Reserve lowered rates in July, credit card debtors are not particularly comforted by this. Making the minimum payments on an average debt only saves $1 per month, a fraction of what it did at the record high of 17.8%. The minimum payments would last over 20 years and cost roughly $7,500 in interest, more than twice the principal, because the Fed sets the average debt at $5,700. A debt transfer could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how much you owe. The math for minimum payments is harsh. Even if you agreed to a considerably shorter payback period, say 21 months, you would still incur $965 in interest if your average debt was $5,700 at the average interest rate of 16.61%. Whether you use a balance transfer or pay off your bills in full, you can set your personal credit card rate to 0%. Another option you could have is a personal loan. While rates aren't zero, they can be as low as the middle of the single digits if your credit is strong. Lowering your interest rate and consolidating debt can be accomplished using personal loans. Seek methods to increase income and decrease expenses as well. Even though it seems like the business cycle is slowing down, there are still plenty of positions available, so taking on a second job isn't something you have to do forever. The average side hustler in the United States makes over $1,100 a month, and nearly half of all workers have one. Earning more money can accelerate the payback of your debt. Spending less is the opposite of earning more. Up until then, let's recall the well-known proverb of Benjamin Franklin. A penny saved is a penny earned. If you're not using the extras to their full potential, think about cutting them. Premium cable channels, gym memberships, and other subscriptions are smart places to start because cutting monthly spending has an annual impact that is 12 times greater than doing the same thing once. Finally, if you owe a significant sum on your credit cards, let's say $5,000 or more, you should think about nonprofit credit counseling. These companies combine your debt, negotiate cheaper rates, and set you up for financial freedom in exchange for small fees. According to Goldman Sachs, credit card businesses are losing money at a rate that hasn't been seen in over 30 years, not excluding the Great Financial Crisis. After peaking in September 2021, credit card losses have been steadily increasing since the first quarter of 2022, even if the first rises were probably due to stimulus. Since then, the rate of losses has been increasing, something that was last observed during the 2008 recession. The firm believes that it is far from over. Goldman projects losses to increase by another 1.3 percentage points to 4.93% from their current position of 3.63%, which is 1.5 percentage points more than the lowest. This occurs at a time when the Federal Reserve Bank of New York reports that Americans owe a record-breaking $1 trillion on credit cards. He noted that the fact that the losses are increasing outside of a recession is unusual. 3 of the last 5 credit card loss cycles, according to him, were marked by recessions. The 2 that took place between 2015 and 2019, and in the middle of the 1990s, were not recessions. Regrettably, a lot of Americans view their credit cards as a de facto emergency fund, a lifeline that they can rely on during hard times. Undoubtedly, a lot of customers plan to utilize their credit cards to help them make up the difference between their first unemployment benefit and their last income before the layoff. That is much more difficult when their credit limits on their cards are lowered. Banks are not obligated, with rare exceptions, to notify cardholders when their limits are being reduced, adding to the complexity. For instance, the bank must provide the cardholder with 45 days' notice before charging an over-the-limit fee resulting from a lowered credit limit. Your ability to spend on your credit cards is not the only thing affected by closed credit cards and lower credit limits. It may also significantly impact your credit score. This is due to the possibility that it will lower your credit utilization rate. The ratio of your debt to available credit is known as your utilization rate. Your utilization rate is 20% if you have $5,000 in available credit and $1,000 outstanding. It's generally advised that people maintain a rate of around 30% or less in order to protect their credit. But if your credit limit drops to only $2,000, your utilization jumps to an absurd 50%, and your credit score will probably suffer as a result. That's all for today. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. Also, express your thoughts in the comment section below. Until the next video, bye.